everyone and welcome to a new video which is my favorite Audible audiobooks. Actually, I listen to a lot of audiobooks on YouTube as well, which are for free and so Audible, and I have loved Audible audiobooks so much. So I'll be talking about a few here. Not much, but a few. The recent ones that I have been reading and were not that good, but there are a few that I have read. Like the books were not good. The narrators were obviously good, but let's start right away with my favorite audiobooks. An audiobook. The first one is A Vineyard Valentine, which is an Audible original actually, not available anywhere else. And this is written by Nina Boshi and it is narrated by Amanda Ronconi. And I really love how it was, like the way it was written and the way it was narrated. I mean, it was actually satisfying to listen to, and it was very short. It's only 1 hour 40 minutes long, and I mean, it was funny, it was romantic and everything you can ask from a short book actually. And I really enjoyed it so much, so I definitely recommend it. The next one is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and it was narrated by Carrie Mulligan. Actually, it was included in my Prime membership, and I listened to a lot of part of it, but still 3 hours of it is left. I'll buy it with my next month's credit or something and then listen to it. But it is actually very nice, and I really enjoyed, like the way she changes her voice for every character. It was amazing, and like actually the story was very interesting. It was written in a very interesting way, but the narrator, I guess, made it even more special. I know if I would be reading it, I wouldn't have read it this much in this little time. Like in 2 days I listened to more than half of the book. I'm going to search for this audiobook narrator actually and listen to her narrated books, because I really loved the texture of her voice. It was so soothing to listen to, even though it is a thriller and a mystery, but it was soothing to listen to her voice. So definitely recommend it, and I'm going to buy this book with my next month's credit and listen to it. So moving on to my favorite trilogy actually, which I have already recommended, but still. So the first book in that trilogy, all these 3 books that I'm going to tell you are Audible original, and the first one in the series is Call Me Maybe by Cara Bestone, and it is narrated by Lucy Christian and Neil Helligers, and it is a very beautiful story. Not that long, only 6 hours long, and very nicely written, very nicely narrated. And actually I love the way the sound effects were in the story. Like when you're listening to a book, it is the narrator just narrating, but when I listen to these books, like all 3 of these books that I'm in this series, they had sound effects. Like if you are on the road, there were horns and there were people chattering, and there were sound effects that would take you into that moment and make you feel what they must have felt. So that is the plus point I really loved about this one. In this one, she broke her car and she called the customer service. She broke her laptop actually and called the customer service. Not broke her laptop, she was making a website and she was unable to do it. Called the customer care, and she was on a highway at that point. Her car broke down on the highway and she was there talking to him, and there were cars passing by, and horns. You could actually listen to cars passing by. So that was one thing that was very attractive about this book. I really loved it. The second book in the series is Seatmate, I guess. Sweet Talk by Cara Baston, and the third one is Seatmate by Cara Baston. The second book, Sweet Talk, is narrated by Lydia Dornet and Chris Brinkley. Out of these three books, this was my most favorite one because it was like the girl was hiding her identity from the boy, and the boy and the girl, like, they know each other, but the boy, due to some problem, do not remember her. He had a disease, and he saved her number with something he could not remember, and then text her, and they started to talk. um the boy started liking her, and she thought that the boy is way too smart and was out of her league. So she never approached to him. She was very shy around him, but this was her chance to talk to him. So she hid her identity, but they found out later, and it turned out to be okay, everything good. Not okay, but wonderful. So yeah, this is the story. Very sweet story. Again, not that long. The third one is Seatmate by Cara Stone, and it is actually narrated by a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to give credits to everyone, so I'm going to name everyone. Amanda Ronconi, Zachary Weaver, Josh Hurley, Carol Monda, Corey Ellen, Alison Johnson, Eric Weiss Garcia, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, I'm sorry, Tanya Elby, Dina Perlman. So these are the narrators of the story, and it is also very sweet story. Again, a romantic comedy. This boy and a girl meet on a bus where they're seated on the same seat, and they got to talking, and the girl wants to reach somewhere for an interview, and the boy helps her because the bus broke down. So yeah, that's very sweet. It was very comical, and it has very romantic aspects and comical aspects and everything. Yeah, it was very nice. So yeah, I have a lot of books that I can recommend, so I will recommend one more, Heidi's Guide to Four-Letter Words, and it was written by Tara Sivek and Andy Arndt, and it is narrated by Andy Arndt, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct. It's not that long. It's 6 hours and 15 minutes long. Very sweet, a little bit on the adult side, but it'll do. It's not too much profanity which you'll have to get away from, but yeah, it is a romantic comedy. You can listen to it. It does not have a lot of things that are uncomfortable to listen to, but those things were written and narrated in a manner that you will not feel uncomfortable, and you will feel like you will laugh at them, and you will laugh wholeheartedly. It was so nice, not cringy. Yeah, I have been into romantic comedies a lot lately. These romance books that I have recommended you, like I'm recently recommending you, are not cringe at all. Actually, they are written in a very nice way, so definitely recommended. And this book, actually, I know I listened to it on a bus, and I had a fight with a lady. Actually, she was pulling my hair from behind, and I was like, please do not do that, auntie, please keep your hands away. And she started fighting with me, and yeah, I fought back, and I was in a bad mood. I made her shut up, and but my mood was spoiled, and I was like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I plugged in my earplugs and I listened to this book, and believe me, it took this book only 10 minutes max to get my angry red face to a laughing red face, and I really enjoyed this book. So I have a little connection with this book, and I was listening to this book the whole time, and I completed this book in 2 to 3 days max. Actually, it was very nice book. So yeah, these are the books that I'll be recommending right now. But yeah, I'll bring more recommendations for you in the next video. So let's just let's just give a rest to my throat because I have a lot of videos to film. So yeah, we'll meet in the next one. Bye.